very pragmatic. Is we look at the current situation as is and how people can benefit from this situation. The past UPC discussions have benefited, like I've said, some local governments that utilized these ideas that were developed in these conferences. They integrated them into their the development plans, and thereafter even innovated new ones, new ideas. Some of the local governments, districts which have adopted some of these ideas have benefited a lot. So Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru Tooro continues to work as a think tank for the region. Because some people have been asking, you go for these conferences, you talk about a lot of things, but we don't see anything happening. I would like to say there's a lot happening. We, as Tooro People's Conference, an initiative of Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru Tooro Elders Forum, we do only once the common good. We are a think tank. We discuss ideas. We may not have the capacity to implement, but we encourage the local governments to adopt these ideas into their own development plans, plus also the national development plan, and see how they can localize these ideas and apply them for the development of this region. And when we talk of the Tooro region, we are looking at the districts surrounding Fort Tourism City. We are looking at Kasese. We are looking at Munguku. We are looking at Tooro. We are looking at Kamengu. We are looking at Kigero. We are looking at Kenjojo. And of course, looking at Kabaroli. We all drink from the same source of water. All the water we drink comes from the Roswell Mountains. And we've been thinking, there's a lot we share in terms of culture. Now we're talking about tourism. If we have to benefit from tourism, Tooro Tourism City cannot benefit from this industry without Kasese or Munguku or Kamengu. So there is need to galvanize ourselves so that we people of this region, we call the Tooro region, can work together and benefit from some of these brand names for Tooro Tourism City. It is a tourism city for Kamengu, for Munguku, for Kasese, all of which benefit from that. The food basket of Uganda is indeed Munguku contributes, Kamengu contributes, Muyangamu contributes. So the purpose of this conference really is to provide a space, to provide a platform where people can bring together the ideas. The good thing about the Tooro People's Conference is it's a non-discriminative character, where it brings all our tribes, call them tribes, which I don't usually like, call them different cultural groups in the region, bring them together, then bring all the ideas, and also tap into our people who are from here, but they're living in Canada, they're living in South Africa, they're living in Europe, and they're living in the US. Some of them are living in Australia and Asia Pacific. So all these people, whenever we have conferences like this, through technology and Zoom, they all participate and they bring ideas. One of the difficulties we've had, especially with our leaders, our policy makers, is lack of exposure. And therefore, when we bring the whole world together, we are likely to get new ideas. We are likely to fill the gap of non-exposure of some of our people, some of our leaders. In this particular conference, we are going to call it speakers who will come and address us, but at the same time, we shall have plenaries where we shall even have business people come and talk to us how they are thriving in spite of these hard economic times. Like for example, you go to town, people are doing business. We are going to invite them, tell us, how are you managing this business? And how, if this economic situation continues like this in the world and in the region, how will you manage? how can you contribute to its changing, to its improvement? We are going to have members of parliament. We are going to have LC5 chairpersons. We are going to have mayors. We bring them together and we ask them, how best can we help you? How best can we, as a region, benefit from government plans? Like, for example, now there is a parish development model. How are you implementing it? How can we help you mobilize the people so that they can fully participate and benefit in some of these programs? Or what changes can the policymakers, because we shall be having members of parliament in the conference, how best can the policymakers propose to government the changes that may be needed to make sure that this parish development model really works? Or what other alternatives? Like, government is always rebranding these programs. Can we propose that after the parish development model, there's going to be another model? And this model will be homegrown. Can we grow a model that we can sell to government so that the next one, the parish development model, will be a model, of course, it will be so the president, but it will have an idea will be generated here. So Tooro People's Conference really is an opportunity to make people think, an opportunity to provide people space so that they can participate, they can engage, they can engage their leaders, the leaders can listen to them. You know, normally these politicians, the members of parliament and the chairpersons of LC5, cows and all that, they are always talking to us. This is another opportunity to make them listen to us so that we can give them proposals, we can debate, and debate without fighting, or debate without who is the winner, who is the loser, like they do in parliament. There is not going to be any voting. It's going to be indeed a very nice opportunity. So I would encourage and invite our people, especially people in this region, to be part of this. This is a noble cause. Tooro People's Conference. Non-discriminative on religion, non-discriminative on tribe, non-discriminative on color, or religion, or whatever. That's an opportunity for all of us to contribute to the development of our region and to sell the region to the country. We call ourselves a Tooro People's Conference 2022. First, I would like to address myself to the Tooro People's Conference, which is normally called TPC. It is an initiative driven by the elders of Tooro, or locally known as Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru, and it was adopted in the year 2016 in December, the first conference. That's when it was decided that this annual event takes place every year around the same time. The goal of this conference, TPC, is to galvanize a coalition of willing, like-minded people of Tooro, build them into unity across geographical locations, religions, tribes, professions, economic status, so that we can have a dialogue on the pressing issues facing the region and work out solutions on how best to address these issues. The vision of TPC, or the Tooro People's Conference, is a united Tooro that is prosperous, environmentally sustainable, and culturally vibrant. In Tooro, this would be translated: Tooro eyobumu enyakukurakurine ekulinda kubunga ebyobuhangwa kandi ekenyumereza omungeso Ly'Abantu Bakuru. TPC, or Tooro People's Conference, has had quite a journey. As I've just mentioned, initiated in 2016. Thus far, Tooro People's Conference has held 6 highly successful and well-attended conferences. The first one, TPC 2016, then the second, TPC 2017, then TPC 2018, and TPC 2019, then TPC 2020, which was physical but mostly virtual because of the pandemic, and then TPC 2021, which was virtual and physical, all held in Tooro, the highlights of which we have published in our first publication of the Isaazi series number 1. Some of the discussions from these conferences have been extended to the local government leadership, and some of these local governments have integrated some of the suggestions made in building their own government sectors in order to influence policy and regional sector interventions. Now the next TPC, which is this year, will take place on Thursday and Friday, 22nd and 23rd of December. The theme for this year's conference has been a build-up of the discussions we've had in the past, in these past 6 conferences. And the theme is economic and social development in the current times. Options for the Tooro region. This theme addresses the current times as they are. As you have seen someone at one time say the economy was going like, and at another time he has come to tell us that the economies don't go like that, they have ups and downs. So this conference wants to examine the state of the economy in this country and how best this region can benefit from this kind of economy and how businesses can survive in these current times. Thus the theme, economic and social development in the current times, options for the Tooro region. TPC 2022 will take a more pragmatic approach, very pragmatic actually, the concretely examining the current regional, national and global trends, and also attempt to apply them to our local and economic development needs. The discussions at this conference will focus on how to strengthen our region as an economic bloc by encouraging local governments to share their development plans, to take advantage of the Tooro development agenda, which was made by TPC, and to concretize the region's brand names such as tourism city, food basket for the country, to ensure the source of pride. How can these name brands be concretized? So TPC 2022, as I have said, will be very pragmatic. It will look at the current situation as is and how people can benefit from this situation. The past TPC discussions have benefited, like I've said, some local governments that utilized these ideas that were developed in these conferences. They integrated them into their development plans, and thereafter even innovated new ones, new ideas Some of the local governments, like districts which have adopted some of these ideas, have benefited a lot. So Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru Tooro continues to work as a think tank for the region. Because some people have been asking, you go for these conferences, you talk about a lot of things, but we don't see anything happening. I would like to say there's a lot happening. We, as Tooro People's Conference, an initiative of Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru Tooro Elders Forum, we do Burundi once the common good. We are a think tank. We discuss ideas. We may not have the capacity to implement, but we encourage the local governments to adopt these ideas into their own development plans, plus also the national development plan, and see how they can localize these ideas and apply them for the development of this region. And when we talk of the Tooro region, we are looking at the districts surrounding Fort Portal Tourism City. We are looking at Kasese. We are looking at Munibuju. We are looking at Tooro. We are looking at Kamwengi. We are looking at Kigero. We are looking at Kenjojo. And of course, looking at Kabarole. We all drink from the same source of water. All the water we drink comes from the Rwenzori Mountains. And we've been thinking, there's a lot we share in terms of culture. Now we're talking of tourism. If we have to benefit from tourism, Fort Tourism City cannot benefit from this industry without Kasese or Munibuju or Kamwengi. So there is need to galvanize ourselves so that we people of this region, we call it the Tooro region, can work together and benefit from some of these brand names for Tooro Tourism City. It is a tourism city for Kamwengi, for Munibuju, for Kasese, all of which benefit from that. The food basket of Uganda is indeed Munibuju contributes, Kamwengi contributes, Munyangamu contributes. So the purpose of this conference really is to provide a space, to provide a platform where people can bring together the ideas. The good thing about the Tooro People's Conference is it's a non-discriminative character, where it brings all our tribes, call them tribes, which I don't usually like, call them different cultural groups in the region, bring them together, then bring all the ideas, and also tap into our people who are from here, but they are living in Canada, they are living in South Africa, they are living in Europe, and they are living in the US. Some of them are living in Australia and Asia Pacific. So all these people, whenever we have conferences like this, through technology and Zoom, they all participate and they bring ideas. One of the difficulties we've had, especially with our leaders, our policy makers, is lack of exposure. And therefore, when we bring the whole world together, we are likely to get new ideas. We are likely to fill the gap of non-exposure of some of our people, some of our leaders. In this particular conference, we are going to call it speakers who will come and address us, but at the same time, we shall have plenaries, where we shall even have business people come and talk to us how they are thriving in spite of these hard economic times. Like for example, you go to town, people are doing business. We are going to invite
have to merge. Still have to merge these. Still have to merge these.
So now can you can pick it where we go?
Yes, I'm back. I noticed that. I am a Tooro.
You forgot to remove it with I lost it. And I keep using it because the original things here. You send for you. In terms of battery life, it's also coming. I take a photo and I think I really good. It has very good results. Nowadays, we are talking about
They said, I don't know how they came up with that decision.
saying now, as
They mostly down water.
especially with these new editions.
Mostly, yes, the national merits, they have very good numbers.
They are actually improved.
It has a lot of points, yes. Idea so called. Yeah, the boss is available.
No, that person was hoping this one. Well, there's no one in this church. So far.
Yeah, sure.
It's not too big like that one. No, it's not big, it's flat and thin. But with the techno, the level setting, you don't have even a charger. Kids also download a lot of stuff. That's why it's not lasting long. There's so many games and all that. When they have their own people that put it on the internet, yeah, around. Yeah, because when you put on the internet, so many features. They downloaded so many things. I think that's why they're doing it. David.
You Sharif ukasigana kuletera energy project. Ukanyuma no kujya kwa assessment. Ende mwakoze cyangwa.
Assessment ndio kutoka mbele.
Yo kuletera kuno kwa mambo ya distance and distance.
David.
Yes, esteemed members of this conference, of the 8th TPC conference, welcome back from the lunch. We are here for our very last session. And our online platform, our virtual participants, we are gathering back from lunch, have our last session. And esteemed participants of the 7th Tooro People's Conference, I have that presentation and then we call it a day.
conference mood now. I think
Very tired. Sherry, but missing ideas, I don't recommend anything. Actually,
No, they will not.
I concentrated most on the recommendations. The proposals I I'm not qualified expert as so I'm putting more on my side.
Acha sana katika agenda sa topic eyokumalira wile buno ninsaba session chair Dr. Patrick Mr. Patrick Rwenda come forward and lead us on this topic of inequality, poverty and social welfare dimensions of Tooro region's government.
Thank you very much. The Director of Programs, Mwevale Halaj, and the Sabbath family. Wakali are here to Atali of joining and the MC. If I can introducing her 2 times as doctor, I think I have to join my PhD very soon. I have to do something about it. Patrick. I'm the University Secretary of Phoenix Medical University. That is a specialized health sciences training university based in Fort Worth here. And the Mulimi, I'm an author. I've written a book on children's rights. And I'm also a forester. I'm a social worker and an environmentalist by training. So, Genda Hamrama Bakarkino, Sabiru Kuelembera topic Gendaho, inequality, poverty, and social welfare dimensions of Tooro region's development. In the case of Mchokunu, Amate Kema Kuzebakuze Nima, Ika Tooro, Watabra Kaka, Manjaka, Kaka Manja. So, we have those dimensions is influencing either Pachivinga Evi, Rundi Kulama Pachivinga Evi Kunda, Tunga, Nibia Kurban Kudekoza. So, the one Mr. Kuraza, the presenter, Cha Anet, Andole Valewa, in Savage and Maishan Joining, and in Mr. Kuraza discussant, Omnyoro Mohammed Ahmed Sharif. They Savage Maishan joining them. For the interest of time, we are a bit strict. Abokoba, Absabire, Abdul Buena, Tomarira Mulugum, Gena Mulugum. That's the stage. So, in Japan, we go with it. Corona, so, if I am some Panjura, Avanta representing the one, Japatanika Mujara, Anet, Andole Valewa, Sharon Torgati. She's an independent consultant in strategy, development, research, resource mobilization, and advocacy. She holds a Master's of Science in Forestry Extension from the University of Reading, in the UK. She holds a postgraduate diploma in environmental studies, and she has over 23 years experience in project planning and management. So we are sharing on her rich knowledge today. Thank you, Madam Anet, for accepting. And on my right hand side here, Ominyoro Mohammed Ahmed Sharif, who holds a Bachelor of Science in Quantitative Economics. He holds a Master's degree in Applied Science, in Applied Social Research from Trinity College in Dublin, as in the Republic of Ireland. He is the Director of Kampala Research and Resource Center, Uganda. He's a researcher and a data analyst for so many years, over 15 years. So as you can hear the introduction, the presentation of Mr. Sharif, Najabom data, Kolaka, Wakaiso Lika, where is the evidence? So Mr. Sharif, who has spent so many years in research, Nadia, who those figures. So at this moment, in Barusa, please make a presentation, and I'm giving you 20 minutes, and I will not add a single minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. And Mwabalamuno, Abantu Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru, Buno Mulubaji Kubanza Kujam TPC, SEMINARY. Next slide. Harahumu Akambege Borjumro Bera Wingi, to balance the English, your Tooro, inequality, and it can be brought. But my presentation has focused on a few strategic areas is Tooro is able to take care of that they are drivers of inequality and take the proposals or recommendations. Apparently some of the things have been said in the morning, but the ideas could be different. Context, inequality for who, and what exactly is the current situation. Chenjocho, Kabarole, Kamwenge, Kitagwenda, Jegegwa, and Fort Portal municipality. By 2020, the population was estimated to 1 million. But if you added the districts that are hosting refugees, we are close to 3 million. Abantu Bakuru, and we are all candidates of refugees, to be refugees, so we are about 3 million generally. The poverty level, according to the national UBOS, the region in Tooro, to have 9.8%. And the poorest is Karamoja. Then we are slightly below Ankole. It's good to compare. Yes, it's good to compare who is richer than me. However, that report does not indicate if we have 9.8% of our people as poorest and 45% in the middle class, where is the other gap? Those who don't belong to the 45 and those who belong to the 98. And the same report indicates our people who are in the middle class, anything of Wakaki, Banaka. The reason is we don't have stability in terms of income and the social safety nets. So that's very important for Isaazi to know. The fertility rate, Mudo, Omkazion Nazara Batana, make sure 5.4. The highest is 7.9. The lowest is 3.5, and that is in the central region. By population fertility rate in a direct relationship to poverty. Abantu abagaiga bakuzana abana batayi kandi abana nubazira abana bayi runubaino fertility rate yaha. That is how the report is, and it's directly affecting us. If we have very many poor people, and then you have the quantity, but you don't have the quality. We now want to bring Jonka qualitative they are there. Next slide. Family planning in our region, Tooro, to 37%. Around to was the family planning. What does that show? That the population will continue to grow and grow and grow. And in recent actually I was in one mujikano kimu, abantu bagamba ito tukyalibate twenda kusaa. And for me, otulanga tugamba tutwine sente z'okulisa abantu, tutwine amalwaliro tugaluma, twangirira family planning. So district leaders in Isaazi, we had better look at the projection. After vaccination coverage, which directly relates with the mortality rate, at least 51%. Then I have highlighted domestic violence. Tooro region, abantu Bakuru Bakuna, abasajja n'abakazi niboleka mukaropa abantu omwaka. Kandi ekintu ekikulamu byakibali zero. And for me, Isaazi churches, civil society organizations, and the MPs here, you need to take that seriously. We cannot talk about development in violent or with violent homes, and most school dropouts are a result of violence, and it's alarming. One time I did some charity with Marjorie to the donation from Canada. I was overwhelmed. 100 people turned up. Cases, omusajja akagudemaho omukaso, omukazi akagudemaho omwana w'enva, brother wakamudemaho omukono. Those were the cases, 120 people. The majority came from Jenjojo, followed by Minyangavu and Kabarole district. So leaders, we need to think about that. And surprisingly, I'm going to lead this in the GBV, but also our violence here can be characterized with the migrants. Then land conflicts, services within the region suffer the same fate as national level, particularly health and education. We are not different from them. Next, please. Drivers of poverty in the region. Drug abuse. Population of youth are engaged. Nkakora Jenjojo for about 10 years to Goyera, somewhere else. Musanga abana, abasigas. They are involved in development, they are involved in rape and drug abuse. And in this, much as we have a city here, Jenjojo is leading, and the statistics are there. Gender and sexual-based violence, I have already talked about it, and limited access to productive assets, particularly land for women. And I will later tell you why that's important. In this region, 48% of the households are female-headed. Twina abakas, abakulinda makanga bayinek, betutuba yinita. Yes, and that is in research. In this region, Sweden private sector investments. Okay, they may be there, but we know how many Mukwanos do we have here? There are so many private sector investments in other regions. Go to Kabale, go to Mbarara. But then here, in terms of the industries, in terms of small scale and medium enterprises that can engage people, I think we are still lagging behind in the whole region, in the whole country actually. Environment degradation, that is the biggest challenge. Jenjojo has lost 10% of its, 20% of its forest cover. Kabarole has lost 20% of its forest cover. Wetlands, rivers are being degraded and drying up. Knowing that this is a natural resource-based agriculture, we need to think about environment. And the drivers of environmental degradation are corruption, poor management, and the population. We are often running behind the population, but the biggest driver of environmental degradation is corruption. Poor social cohesion. In the morning, the UNDP representative was supports. Here, our capacity to mobilize to come strong. tinkwija kubaha iryo gorora kyahari ninja kubarohereza iryo gorora kyambarara. The circles there are very strong. When you find a circle, it's literally a bank. One day, Chief Administrative Officer comes a project. Yangami, you have to make your gorora. When you send the data into circles, they have the 7 banks. In the Cameroon here, we have a circle in assets that are equal to 4 billion, or the liquidity of 11 billion with the capacity to lend out 300 million to one person. I bet. And the reason is, I want to wait to what? I had an opportunity to visit, and actually that is manifesting to so many banks. With the due respect, our current banks have, it is an opportunity, but at the same time, a liability. Our people are running into banks to get loans at a high interest rates because we do not have alternative financing mechanisms. I got the opportunity to visit Niger one time. Oh, they have self-financing. These small groups, Zona, Nizediana, they have like a district-based Yahosa, and then an Amex. Actually, they have the sub-county-based group, which has sub-county. They have enough resources. Groups, the Makumiari, Nizija district. We don't need these little groups. If we want to have meaningful development, we need those groups to be strong producer associations. And one that was talked about is leadership conflicts. I will not talk about that. So take example, municipality, but it's derailing development. It's completely derailing development and investment. Next slide. It's a city, but yeah, it was a municipality. But even it's functioning and budget, I don't think it's a city. I will talk about it later. Iba kumpera hema kwa David wakianjojo kigoya ained all music brother kumpera kwa ne barwani back. And I think looking at conflicts here, and I got opportunity also to understand the number of cases at court. The majority of the cases are land-based and domestic violence. Next slide. In terms of access to services, we have one referral. And when I was told to present this, I wanted to present a case study. Our health center force that are service provision points, really with the due respect to the politicians here, it's lip service. A health center for that has all the 3 beds in the maternity ward, a health center for that is expected to have staffing of 52, but they have only 10. There is one that I visited, it's supposed to have the 2 nurses, but they have 8. The person working in the theater is a clinical officer, and an anesthetist is a nurse. We have to do something. I know the health center. I can tell you off this microphone. I visited it personally. I know it. That's why I said XX, such that the politicians don't reprimand the staff. The issue is poor infrastructure, and then I just said the health and education services. We have some cases structures without human resources. Next slide. Now, in terms of environment, the water coverage is fair, but some of those water services are not functional because of degradation of the ecosystem. And you find they're telling you they have 15 boreholes, but only 5 are functional. However, we will say that the service is there. But I have mentioned what we are losing in terms of the forest cover. And I really think that as leaders, we need to invest that much more. We need to invest in them. The reason being is that, as you can see there, how Cameroon lost about 3,190 hectares of forest cover. What does that translate into? Food insecurity. 90% of our people are using namakana, which over a very no that one is there. Some reasoning with Chenjocho. So, as we talk of the priority agenda for the region, we should put environment at the forefront. And I also give them the statistics for Cameroon, and Chegerwa is equally in the same rate. Remember, in Chegerwa they have refugees, and the problem becomes more. Wetlands and rivers are equally degraded. So I have talked already about the issue of food security as a result of loss of the environment and energy. Next, please. Now, our families are only able to spend on consumptions in the house. If you calculate that by the 5.4, it goes back to what Blavia said. Just divide that money, and that is the money, because this research was taken after COVID. And it was a household. How much can you use that, if that is your monthly expenditure? Then, our farmers are actually in subsistence. I've already mentioned Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru, the female-headed households that comes with vulnerability. Generally, below 45% of the middle class. And they are not in the waged category. Because the wage category there, the females are 36% and the males are 40%. Our cousin, is only that, and the males are 40. But the males are 37. So this one again points to the violence. Either I don't know whether the women are hostile or the men have gone and the women are widowed and single parents. It has a direct bearing on education. It has a direct bearing on the products, to the quality of the people we get. And then I will not talk about, I already talked about the poverty and the middle class, so let's have the next slide. The leaders and citizens seem detached. The people want something else, and the leaders are lobbying for something else. The conflicts among the leadership is derailing the service delivery, and also the capacity to spend. I don't know who can come to invest in the system of number one. Tomorrow you're looking for a commercial officer, Tooro, the person is demotivated. I want to go in the interest of time. The last one is, we seem to be settling for tokenism and not strategic services. I asked Kagenda Kagat for a research. When the UNRWA was making all those roads, they benefited from their 4-kilometer bonus. What is happening here? We lost all these 4 kilometers of Kasese, 4 kilometers going to Bundunjo, 4 kilometers going to Kamwenge. That whole city will be with roads. And I also say, I give an example, we are grateful the CT scan has come, but we need much more. Recently I was in Zambia hospital. You find all these tests, MRI, EEG, and it is us who are going there. So why don't we get those services here? We can get the services even when the government budget is overstretched. I think we should lobby the private sector. The UNPP country talked about diaspora investment. I think we need to get the diaspora platform to be able to invest in such areas, and for us here, we just look at the favorable environment. You don't need to be a doctor to start that hospital. You can have the building there, like how my friend Alex has Dutch Plaza, then Albert comes and puts his equipment there. Yes, that's what we should do. Otherwise, we are not nurturing the power of the diaspora. And I still feel we are not nurturing it. And I will let this one with some of the platforms they have attended for Uganda. They are quite ahead. The diaspora is speaking one word, that Mirembe Villas is the Uganda diaspora. I look at my brother, you'll take the message. Let's go next. I just want to say that we should focus on key messages. We will not develop without talking about GDP. We will not talk about increasing productivity without talking about addressing the environment degradation. Next slide. Opportunities. The tourism city is an opportunity. The favorable political landscape is an opportunity. And these are my recommendations. Next. The tourism sector, tourism transit. At least when I speak about this sector, I speak with knowledge, not a presentation. I worked with the Uganda Wildlife Authority one time. I've continuously worked with them, so I know what I'm talking about. We need to look at tour companies that are locally owned, to have the hotel industry with innovation. I'm going to give an example for Nairobi. When you go to Gigiri, the UN headquarters, whether it's the regional UN headquarters, every house there is a guest house. The time I was there at Karagam Hotel, the guest houses one as a website. No, no breakfast. This is a former minister. This one was a PS. This one is a retired. They are now earning income. And because even the hotel industry here is very expensive to invest, but the homestay can do us better. Where are the campsites? Where are museums? Where are recreation areas? I visited Malawi. Tourism is about a story. Where are stories in this region? And we have them. Katosa being one of them. I went there to visit it, to say president, you know, what did I? Now I'm here to elect president. But I spent money. Yes, $20. Martin Luther Jr. akazaliwa hano yekisika ya leo amaraza hano bakamwejja ekini yekelezia bampatirizeho. What has it added to me? But I paid $50 to go there. So we need to tap. What stories can we market as a region? We need to create stories. So we need to get the writers. Agro-tourism. If you've been to Burundi, what they call the coffee experience. No genda hafamu yomuntu no sasura $20 for $30. Bakole ko mwana bayeire hanu babu harvestingire the roasting. This one is mild, this one is strong, this one is what? You spend money there. Agro-tourism. And about Hanover, We have our farmers in Congo. Let us invest in them. I went there, someone had given a consultancy, a consultant, on agro-tourism potential in Kabarole. Nasaka, two farmers, their road is impossible. They can't move. This Sabine and Mugamba coffee, they could be doing better. I tell you again, we need to do that. The coffee experience. The coffee experience in Ethiopia. I saw the wine grapes in Australia. No, they have found more grapes in your wine. What I mean? Yes, I think of Chumbawari. Nichotuine. Yes. Whatever we have, let's do that. And I don't see it here. Our tourism should focus on domestic. Today, to Ly'Abantu, I don't know whether we are 100 or 200. What exhibition is down there? Abantu are with their beans, with their coffee, with their honey, and everything. And we would buy. We would really buy, or they would exhibit. And we are able to understand the products. Hansia hone meza usamukantu. Mujakabusa mkandia watu kanislevi yao. But we need to do better. What products do we have? When you go to Kenya, Masai Mamanyira Hali workshop. Never let them beat Simbiame and once and make over no commodity. Tokuka the hero once, Tokuka the hero souk, that kind of aggression. Next. Agriculture. The value chain development. I told you I've been moving to look for opportunities. In Kabamu hindi mwenda sinje. Nagamba kabale twine mitu ya gamba. He wants to import at least 6 tons of sweet potatoes, and he's taking them to the Middle East. Na yetaka na chili, na yetaka vitunka vegetables large. Nijihano kabuza abantu baharugo. Na ene akuli ya white. But the Papa on the hero Yagamba we actually, every time I went, and it is the farmers production in Chenjocho, in Kabarole, they can't raise 1 ton of any commodity that you want. Our agriculture is subsistence. So we need to help these groups to be able, at these circles. The circles should not look at only generating money, but they should get a product, a commodity that they rally around to be a produce association. Either to in the circle to the Makamare, we can raise 3 tons. But remember, even if we are not able to raise it, Uganda Investment Authority has already given us ideas for business investment. Go on their website, how to make chili, how to make tomato sauce, how to make this. And it is a little money. Flavia Gabriel, why do you get 4 million to Amwana Hill? That money can be invested locally. You just need to have the brain of where to invest. In the interest of time, I thank Adieli Gabriel who are organizing the business forum. I was not aware, but I was giving that as an example that we can do investors through business platforms. One time I attended the Uganda Business Forum. I see the representatives of EU, all EU businesses, and they tell them, these are the opportunities. Can you look for your investors? From your countries, Denmark, Netherlands, they called all those ambassadors for a breakfast meeting. And the ambassador said yes. Now, apparently, some of us, because we've been working somewhere else, we managed to get some investors for other districts, but we were not known here, we were not active. Now maybe we can help, but that was the time. Another slide. I've already talked about an investment in health sector that is private sector led. Because all these facilities, if you compare, we need them here. During the COVID, our people died nowhere in the center. because you needed an ambulance to go to Kampala. There is a good facility, okay, that is average. Those who could afford, they went there. We could have another, we could have a knowledge area. Why not? Let's have that one here. I will skip the second, but go to investing in technology. When you go to even the little businesses we have here, we are not doing digital marketing, e-marketing. If you go on the website of Nyangao, even you are not able to talk about the apartments that are near me as a motive. So to speak, because the district, what else are you offering? Talk about those, the opportunities that are in the district. But we are so segmented to do Kubaza here into a mean. Yet if someone came to the district, we could benefit. Next, and I think that's the last. I want to emphasize on the issue of green entrepreneurship. Green entrepreneurship, we have already said we have a problem of climate change, and therefore we can only get solutions to climate change. And I've given an example of frequency energy. We have visit generating tons of waste. Waste is wealth. We can make papers, we can make tiles, paper bag, beads, fertilizer. What do we need? We need the catalyst. Either we need an innovation or that. By the way, you can also make charcoal briquettes from human waste. Don't waste everything. Human waste is food for charcoal. That technology is there in Kenya. Go and look for it on the net. So we are here wasting resources. There is nothing that is a waste. The Tree Growers Cooperative. Let's form a Tree Growers Cooperative. I think for people who are seeing what is happening along Mubende, there are investors that are coming in the forestry sector and adding value. But I would encourage, again, I want to regionally, they should not rush to sell to those people because they are offering price. But if we had our own company, maybe we could do better. And yeah, there could be ideas. I've seen a number of foresters here. The last slide. Those are examples of what we've been doing elsewhere to skill groups. Another one. The policy level. Flavius thing we should talk about to give you a legislative agenda. I think you should, I said that we should have a task force that maybe Isaazi is doing this, to hold our members of parliament accountable. We have so many presidential pledges. Who is following up? And to who? And in what period? The IVF factory, the industrial park, this one, that one. We need to get them to do that. But also, for me, I had requested that we should have a center or a safe space for women, men, and youth who are experiencing violence for rehabilitation. And I'm not looking at, I'm looking at a place for rehabilitation. And you even give them entrepreneurship skills, those survivors of GBV.
Hold our leaders accountable. I think this should be a collective responsibility. In the next TPC, call your MP, wherever they are, and say, you are attending TPC? Or they should come and we plan together, isn't it? Call them, you the voters, call them. Because if the Isaazi has done their best to inform them, you remind them that here is well planned for this region. And if you are not with us, then how do you know what we are planning for? You know, we're planning meeting, you have to be with us. Put them on pressure. Then put them on pressure. How do you? They are in parliament, they are debating, I call you. We are watching you. I will not say what they were debating, but they were. But I thank you very much, Annette, and I would like to have a round of applause for her. Now, this presentation is organic from home. The government is affecting and it is affecting. people. So these are real issues. Someone said that is not true when she was talking about health. I'm going to open the audience after his presentation and we hear what is true. Right? So if you have alternative information or resource, we shall have that moment. Mr. Sharif, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I think you were very moved for the presentation. In mind of what is the source of energy, energy the chapel it is a big question. Banyeta Sharif Babagambire and Babaganda Tooro. And I just want to share one experience, because as an energizer, in order to stand. Passport yangu ya wewe ya kana ndio ku apply passport ya katano. When apply ile kakitoka choices za mbele haikuwa kwa train. Ukasera na kitu kubwana kimuki kitu kinabanza kurora no motor, and I clicked on that. That the system then after some time response 8 denied. And what was the other message? Referred to citizenship office. Hapo unaongezeka kwa immigration visa. Utaenda na citizenship na wataambia na kuna Pakistan ndio ya hadi naija hadi hapa. Imagine the first passport in passport ya kana nitakayakatana nungambele yote ninamjenga au kwa Tooro. Na hapa bakaliza kwa Tooro. Metabatoni na basima kwa hospitali. Anything in the family about any discrimination. I think that's the reason about Unganyo, Baini Muno, Tooro region, Ukiro region is in Uganda. And that's a very, very big difference. Because of that hospitality, that's why we have a lot of potential to really move forward. So the difference is Sweden, but we are very good people compared to others. Hakika walizia mkono elimu petunyana kugamba that there are two things and outcomes and opportunities. And together kugamba inequality of outcomes and inequality of opportunities. Hakika walizia mkono kugamba inequality of outcomes. Can't really work in income or about wealth or about expenditure. Can you get about filter rate? If you want to increase their inequalities when it comes to outcomes. But between inequality of opportunities and they are being attributed to differences between beyond individual control. For example, the Mukazi or Museki poses a different opportunity. Ikitabu kiengana trade the listing. Those are inequalities. Twin example location of birth. The way see view Mozaiwe, Nukobaitaiwe Zao, Zijapangozi. At the same time, and the Indian German is the family background. No Ganga. Babawawe Noha. Urgandaki. Ainaki. These are realities, and I really want to share experiences and realities because I'm from the grassroots. And please allow me to share these experiences. And I want my discussion is about more inequalities of opportunities other than the outcomes. And like the scholars also argue that outcomes raising the inequality outcomes, getting their income not be raising on a combination of differences in opportunities, individual efforts, and time. We have to look at them one by one. And I have to really agree that when it comes to the statistics, Akita is on the 9.8% poverty level in this region. But I have to bring also another reality that poverty is more than twice as prevalent in rural as urban areas. That any notion of Gamba, there are more poor people in the rural areas. And I can say confidently that 80% of the rural people are more vulnerable to poverty as 30% in the urban areas. So, abantu kenana hachukumi bali vulnerable mukigambo ky'olunaku ukira omuntu omutawu ekijja kita. In other cities it's the reverse. But in this region, omuntu abo different things, climate change, natural disaster, omuntu are more vulnerable. Now, when it comes to the urban, there are several opportunities the urban people are able to tap into, and those opportunities are not in the rural areas. And what we are doing here, it poses a very big risk. Because when we get more people vulnerable in the rural areas, that may lead into rural-urban migration. You are getting people from the rural because of the vulnerable state or condition they're in, and they're shifting to the urban areas. And we may actually be like India at one thing we not here. We have not tested urban poverty. But poverty, you kauni, nekira poverty, you jab. In India or other cities, poverty is demand in Mutamu. And we are still safe when we're talking about 30% of the rate. Meaning that if we do not come up with alternatives in the rural, to make sure that citizens in those rural areas are engaged productively, then it poses a very big risk for the future. So we need to reflect as stakeholders, how do we come up with those opportunities? And in our presentation, I'll be able to highlight some of them. There's also another fact when we talk about inequalities, women. As we know that 73% of women provide the agricultural workforce, but only 7% of the land is owned by the women. No sana, no bona, but production. No bakulima, no bakulima, but they access only 7% of the land. And what does this mean? We have something that in terms of decision making, what to grow, when to grow, is the decision of the man. Akiki kamarade, edo kamarade, so as a purpose of in the end, who benefits? Is the man. The man who is controlling those productive resources. So it's a risk. You have women who are the majority, but at the same time, there are women who are more vulnerable. What they share. And again, when it comes to issues of land fragmentation, tunachosanga that akataka boine kaploti ngenu ngenu nyenja bakadividinga kwa bana wengi. Omukazi yo no useja na aswera. In fact, you are actually increasing marginalization of women. About itaka yogero kwa the title, and they have limited options. Even when we talk about development, away with the so challenge the man and have to really think about land optimization practices. That within land, if you are planning, we should not be planning for acres and acres of land. I think the most sustainable solution is thinking with small piece of land, but become more productive. Not think about acres, because they are not going to be acres anymore in the future. Now with urbanization and also with the population growth, you are not going to see that land. What is the alternative? We have to start thinking about livelihoods that actually do not require large pieces of land, but to concentrate on small pieces of land so that you can be able to earn an income and also change your livelihood. In Indonesia, for example, they use just a veranda to produce baby beans. They import the baby beans from Kenya, and they are the biggest exporters of baby beans in Europe. But they are using just the yard, and that will feed the family throughout the year. Now you need a whole village to produce food for what? So we have to start thinking beyond land, or with the limited land, how can we engage our women and youth become more productive? The women and youth, matters we're talking about value chains. The women and youth are excluded. You know it very well when you talk about coffee. Let's go back to the realities. Coffee on one enterprise of sector. So there are people going to be excluded because the youth. I know even in Masaka experts have done many studies and also in some other parts of the resort. Omusajja n'agamba by'omukazi ogenda okolima ebihimba byawe never cross to this country, and the stories are they don't cross. But again, when it comes to labor, they want these people to go and wage. This is an unfortunate part. When it comes to the market, omukazi is there. This is the same issue when it comes also to savings. When it comes to sharing, who makes the decision over that money? Still the man. So the power dynamics at household level, as we are trying to promote the household approach, there is still a big disparity, which we need really to address. So, as we said that most people in unpaid agriculture are women. Women actually earn nothing. They provide the labor, but most of them do not actually earn even any peanut, or they get only peanuts. So they are likely to be poor and vulnerable in the future. Women are often, they also, they're in the middle. We have the climate change, which is affecting our environment, it's affecting our production systems, and they're the ones who look for food. They're the ones who look for water. They're the ones who look for fire. But because of these changes, their men are not affected. And this one also poses a very big risk. If you talk about TPV, most of these cases emerge because of climate change. That people, especially young women and girls, move long distances to go and look for fire, look for wood, for water. And many of them are deprived, they are abused. So those are the kind of challenges, and I think there is a solution to on bricketing and others to be able to address such challenges, which we really agree. So as natural resources, so when we talk about even the coverage, when 53% of the rural households still use 3 cooking stoves to cook food. By number 53%, meaning that for a very long time, very many centuries, we are still using the same technology to produce food. What does it mean in terms of environment and in terms of costs? We are actually using more firewood. It's not safe for women because of respiratory diseases, and for a very long time, we have had cancer, we have so many issues because of that kind of inequality. We are not changing our technology. And also, even acceptability is very, very low. I know we have carelessly trying to provide different energy-saving technologies, but when you go back, you're going to look at Ubuntu, but they still use the 3 cooking stones. They're stuck in that mindset of when they have cultural issues. So there are issues of perceptions, there are issues to do with the knowledge. So those are still very serious issues, but when it comes to the environment, there is loss. And actually, if you adopt to a new saving stove, you reduce up to 50 or 60% of the fuel. In terms of the costs, on energy. So that can also be a saving for a family to save but also to invest. Women and girls during the COVID pandemic, and that have prevented the existing inequalities of women and girls. I think meaning they'll never compare. Compete with their fellow colleagues. The mindset of they are new. And our society that and water criminality, you have cast. And that also brings other social issues that we have to deal with. COVID-19, then the other issue is on the informal sector. Nilichokusanga that in Tooro, the SMEs, the informal market vendors, they were actually affected. And that poses a very big challenge. That means they cannot be in active employment. There was also an increase in unemployment. About 85% of the paid workers are employed in the formal sector. So abantu babona no sakatibena formal contracts, no about business, and most of them are employed. So that one also raised the inequality. But there are also social and cultural dimensions. There's been a example why we have such an inequality. One, expectations and norms in Sweden confine women to unpaid household work and to restrict their participation in paid production. Female-headed households. It's a very big change. Because of that notion, that's the orientation. And this is something that we need to really address. So that women are empowered, not the issue that they can only be engaged in unpaid work. They have to start, because that also, as a family unit, they need to contribute income to the family. In terms of social welfare, which I have now to go into, Honorable Bakuru just starting with updated information now that we have 40.6% of children under the age of 5 years stunted. It's not only the body, but what is very important is the brain. It's the brain. The brain shrinks. And when it shrinks, you have fewer neurons for you to process the data. That means you have people who can be there, they look good, but the minds do not even think. And you're talking about technology, you're talking about science, what's going to happen? And 40.6% of those children are stunted in that condition. It's a very big dilemma. And I have to also say, the evidence we have is not that people do not have food. I think that's a very wrong notion. We have discovered, or our evidence has revealed, that there is diversity in the garden, food diversity in the garden, but there is less diversity on the plate. We are producing a lot of food, you make it in the garden. When you mwana kulodeka kule na yake, mwana akawa, ndio ndiye mwana akawa, mwana akawa ni akuli. Betu jina mmoja aliyetoke, aliyo potatoes, aliyo yams, all the food is there. Where does it end? We have opened up so many markets. There is high demand for this food. All the food, according to our study, leaves the rural areas. It goes into the urban, but most of it goes even to Kampala and even in other countries, like Congo, Rwanda, Southern Sudan. It's not that we don't have the food, it is the issue of choice. If you put it to the or we exchange nutritious food with unnutritious food. No tuna mahuli, no gura, manaka. Those are the choices we have. The food is there. What we need is to change the mindset of the consumers to eat the food they produce. We are not going to explain beyond that. There is also another fact that people have lost their cooking skills. A lot of indigenous food has proved to be resilient. It can withstand the shocks of climate change. But who actually cooks this food? We have lost the skill. And that's the reason we have put strategies like KRC, we promote Igogari. Abantu karibu kumanya tutumba tuta kanikuja tuta ebibulege because they are nutrient dense. So if you put in this Uganda the market is driving the agenda of food on the table of many households, especially in the rural. Another fact is that people in the urban have better diversity than people in the rural. And this is obvious, because food converges in the urban. We even access it cheaply. There's too much food in the market, so So we buy it, but that is being denied by the people who produce that. So it's a big dilemma. So another fact is that almost half of Ugandan population is under the age of 15. Of course, that is representing one of the youngest population in the world. The school dropout is also high, and it makes children particularly vulnerable to forced child learning. Obokena will be talking, and that is the Filipino Bazaar, plantations in talking, Aban, Abing, Wagin Masomeo, Abonga Baplakinga, those are the social dynamics. Aban, Tukanika, Basisa, Kalbato, we think about money, and actually we limit their capacity to think about money that level is what can sustain them. Can we go that with a changing context, Aban was but they need to have money because we have tried to make them comfortable. And the people are very comfortable, need to be employing our their chief to accept the title because we want to have to push more out into the market. Bukina Casendo, Cambiana, Notosanga Aban, Honorable, Aban, Orlego, Akiyeto, Mumajan, Akali Aban. It is a very big risk. Aban, Bagero Pereza, and actually they spend more time than what is being required according to the international standards. So that is still a limiting factor. There is also limited access to health services. People say, when we talk about social welfare, health is very, very key. Nojosanga that Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru, Nojosanga there is limitation for them to access services. Nojosanga Sazuni preference to get India or Genaka because we are not having that culture of accessing services even before we know that we are sick. We don't take it as our health insurance, community health insurance. Our hand to possess that abantu bakubwana na gena na services mwa tukana tukwasa ya secretaries to Habian, but we have this a model, a community health insurance model that umuntu kusanga mkimanajingi kuweka at community level and it's owned by you, that everybody we see can access quality services, and that one actually knows something to increasing production and productivity because health is the main target. Again, when we have your high unemployment among the youth, and 70% of the population is below 30 years. So the employment rate at 4.3%. It means that Aban, Abain, Singapore, and that is also an inequality. The Baina skills, but at the same time, they want also to fulfill a certain lifestyle. So, a lot of program skilling. It's not about skilling people. But they need to have different orientation about skilling. Skilling abantu bengi kusaka no skilling abantu chikumi bengi kusaka mabana babi dulu basatu dulu batano dulu following akolo makolo masumi abengi barora as long as processes are going to abandon, and that is still a very big limitation when it comes to skilling programs. So it's not about graduation. It is all about accessing services and also accessing what's needed as toolkits for them to be able to perform their roles. So that when we are doing programming to reach to a level of skill, and we are not thinking beyond that in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of mindset change, but also showing that there are other opportunities that can come into that can be able to build their own capital. Access to finance is a very big issue to the youth because they don't have collateral, and that's can be a limiting factor. And of course, our key cover is the work of the government agency. According to the Region 8, Abantu Abaini Okura groups. Abaini, they are some individual agencies. And Abaini Okoli, Abaini Okoli. Nojosanga groups sino bogena kakasese na akabo, Nojosanga groups of receiving. That's why not in Tooro. But we are not saying that by having a collective agency, the way we go, we can also explore the individual agency. We have people we have trained, but we are in groups. An individual are not factor. within the same community. It means that there is potential in individual agencies and collective agencies. So we don't have to take it as a blank statement. There is also an issue which we need also to agree, and this would be also something that we can take up, is on the issue of the minimum wage. I think we don't have to run away from this issue. Private sector, they're exploiting people. They're exploiting these young people. You find a factory next to the other, they are paying differently. What does it mean? There's no reward for labor. That's why the people think of going outside, because they are not seeing it in a reward. No sanga, we support your crowd that when I'm in the same position, even no cleaner, this is my minimum wage. No more, and there's a lot of expectation. And this discussion, 1984, when we had the minimum wage, and because of inflation, because of other economic factors, all that is no longer relevant. So we need to really think about it. And if you come to Kika, was a bit about the refugees, people like Kika come, but I think there is a big dilemma. The influx of refugees, we approach from the same resources. But at the same time, Kamweni and Kengeo, we are still hosting these refugees. But do we really ask ourselves, how do they survive? But when we remember action acts, what is going to happen? By the families, they need actually to live like us. So there's that inequality that we need really to also look into, because we are the host region of some of the refugees in the country. So I want to conclude by saying that tackling inequality in Tooro region entails a comprehensive development framework, like Tooro development agenda, that puts people's participation in economic growth process at the center. And I think I want also to agree with the Honorable Landry that households must be viewed as agents of economic growth and transformation and not passive recipients of social services. Just looking at them as people who are supposed to be receiving, but they must be partners and they must own their own development process. So that's where I end. And I can say that we can always facilitate the growth that leaves no one behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharif. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. And thank you, Annette, also for that wonderful presentation. We are getting late and we are getting tired. I know you want to intervene, but we have another day. Tomorrow is another day. So in Saba, burning issues to have a kiltara or chimuru living. Berekadi had Kavasaki. Rekadi Kata, that was a good cure. Yes. So, I'm Tooro Sharif, from Jarani. This is tomorrow. Mujahid Andeka, the Governor Kabuzo, Kora, contribution to the audience.
Bampere uzindalo anazela na kompa. Ni saba yetu wanayohana. Nyeke tusinduke kampuni. Okay.
Let's get down there everyone. So, Nibasima Kulo or I know after late lunch, it is really hard to have this high level of situation. Who is so I take the opportunity to understand who is going to be Kuma and close the session for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairperson of the session. On behalf of the organizers and on behalf of Isaazi, I thank you all for the good attendance you have had today. Mwebarimuno, Mwebarikwija, and the Ngozi Mlego and Girda, Honorable Harun Joseph Abal, Hello Single Chairman from Kamwenge. I would like to reiterate what has just been said, that tomorrow, Krenge will be Jakarta, Baruhamsa Kunaibiri, Abu Kiri, and the Nima, Kirika Kabiri, again, is the burning issue, and why they put it on. Tomorrow we're going to begin with that, and then we'll recap what I've had today, and then move on. In the past, we have left this place at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, once leave at 5. In order to achieve that, let us keep time. There are some burning topics for tomorrow which you would not like to miss. To give you an example, Tooro investment and development opportunities. Investment opportunities. Sent around the scene, 1 million, 2 million. The global Isaazi Ly'Abantu Bakuru investment opportunities. And one investment opportunity we have identified is Tooro diet. They are opening up for shares, for partnerships. You would like to get information on that. Another very interesting topic is implementation of the Tooro development agenda, where we are going to have our local leaders, Honorable Richard Wabienga, Honorable Gilbert Rubehayo, and the city clerk from Tooro City. They will come here and begin to discuss the Tooro development agenda and how they intend to incorporate some of the ideas we have had into their local government development plans. So you would like to be around tomorrow. We are going to begin at 9 o'clock on the Tooro. Very interesting, tomorrow we are also going to talk about the Tooro Education Fund. Already we are having 15 students in university and other lower levels. How we can revamp that fund so that more poor children, and we hope, can go to school. Very, very interesting. Since this is a global meeting, we're going to have our own sons and daughters from the diaspora living in the US and UK and South Africa to introduce themselves to us and tell us what they are able to do. What is native to Kabaganda, we local, but we will go on the native collective, you got to take a activity on Christmas, where you forgot that of Abraham or investment opportunities. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day, and if I were you, I wouldn't like to miss tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here today. Raise, and then we say a prayer, and we end our day. Let us pray. God, our loving Father, we thank you for gathering us here. You yourself have said us, where 2 or 3 gathered in my name will be in their midst. We fully believe you've been in our midst to gain all these ways, sayings, all this wisdom, all these good ideas. Thank you for being in our midst. Elsewhere you have said to us, you have promised us, when you gather, there are 2 or more that have done anything you granted. We are praying for growth, praying for end of corruption, we are praying for end of domestic violence, praying for the end of poverty, we are praying for growth and development, peace in our families. As we go home, provide us what we need, and bring us safely home, and bring us back here together as a family. Make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. And may the blessing of the Almighty God, the Father, the Son,